If you had the Eagles, the Colts, and the 49ers all at 4-1, raise your hand. Okay, put it down. You're lying. Because I had them all at 5-0, but then they lost somewhere. But those are the three best teams. I'm not putting the Bills on that list, and I have a very good reason. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning! Snowman here to all you Brock Purdy and San Francisco 49er haters. Shut up! I gotta thank you, Shane.
I mean, whatever happened to the games where breaking 100 points was, I don't know, unusual?
There was one word to sum up the All-Star weekend.
Trays. Cause we take this job so serious.
Splash Brothers, yes. Ray Allen, replace him with Steve Kerr. Reggie Miller, yeah.
What in the all types of blue hell?
Don't ask. Just don't ask. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Try talking and coughing at the same time. Good morning and welcome to the Manic Overreaction Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us. Man, we are flying right along here in this 12th season. If you want to advertise with us, drop me an email to snowmanmultimedia@gmail.com. This one's personal. If you can help my family and I out with a Cash App donation, that would be great because we are trying to get back on my feet after all the health troubles I've dealt with. You can subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't already at youtube.com/@snowmanmultimedia. And this one's also personal. How about this? Give us a hand here on GoFundMe, gofundme.com/snowman's road to recovery. Dear Buffalo Bills, what the hell was that? What was that? I gotta tell you something. I did not see I saw the first quarter of the Bills game last night. Bills and Patriots, Sunday Night Football. And the Bills promptly turned the ball over not once, but twice in the first quarter. And my thought was this.
Well, that game sucked.
And it did. The Patriots won 23-20. The Patriots had no business winning that game. Stephon Diggs, now a Patriot, was one of the benefactors and the keys to last night's 3-point victory. There's just something about when the New England Patriots visit Rich Stadium in Orchard Park, they play them tough. Give the Patriots credit. They played them tough. And as far as the Bills are concerned, they're frauds. I can say this now because the Bills are indeed 4-1, but that was a division loss. That was a division loss. They're 2-1 in the division now instead of 3-0. If they were 3-0 in the division, say, I don't know, like my San Francisco 49ers, more on that next segment, then we'll be able to have a conversation. But this game sucked. Period. That Bills-Patriots game, even with the cool uniforms that the Patriots had on last night, that game sucked. You know, like the Angry Video Game Nerd said in his very, very first video, and I was watching it this morning, This game sucks. Let me welcome some people. A Pizzle in the house. Vicolaw's in the house because he's in the office this week. Napoleon's here with us. The manic what the heck was yesterday, Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. I love it. Pizzle says, Dear New England, thank you. And Tiger Stripes Media lifted the lid off of the Fanatics feedback zone. What was that, Buffalo? 2 fumbles in 3 drives? Really? This is your... Hey, I got a question about Josh Allen. And, of course, I mean this playfully with what we're... thank you, Napoleon. I won't repeat what you said, but, yeah, thank you for that statement. This is your king, Josh Allen, who played tentative, who played scared, who played not like the MVP? Really? This is your king? Oh, I'll get to the Damian. I'll get to the Texans and Ravens a little bit later. But this, what? I know I've said this before about many a quarterback, and I know I've said this before about Josh Allen, and I will repeat my statement about Josh Allen. I have never seen Josh Allen play that tentative before. Even against the Patriots. I've seen it now on 2 occasions where Josh Allen was a deer in headlights because of it being prime time, of it being against a team that you supposedly should pound in the dirt. And give the Patriots credit. They sliced that Bills defense to shreds. Let me say that again, and I know Napoleon will get a kick out of this. They sliced that Bills defense to shreds with their running game. The defense that is supposedly a strong point of the New England Patriots. That game sucked. Patriots win by 3. The Bills don't know what the hell they're doing. Victor says, well, I'll say this. Every team and every player is expected to lay an egg, but the big question is, how do you bounce back from it? That's what I'm waiting to answer. The Bills have the Bills, the Eagles, the 49ers, and I know there's one other team. I can't think of them right now, all with a 4-1 record, getting there in different paths. Getting there in different ways. Hello, Lucy. Y'all see, where is she? Y'all see Lucy right there behind me, wondering what's going on. How, if you're Josh Allen and the Bills, how do you bounce back from losing at home in primetime to the Patriots? You bounce back playing the next game like your playoff lives depend on it, and you play that way for the remainder of the season. Because every other team in that division is going to try to challenge you, challenging a team that has ruled that division for 7 years. Why are you shaking your head at me?
Because unfortunately, I'm going to be out of the truck this week. The laptop's not cooperating.
Vegas. So you're on the
Best
phone.
I can do is set everything up from afar and then come in like.
And then that happens. And then that happens. He freezes in mid sentence. At least it didn't. Damian says at least it didn't end in overtime, in an overtime tie like that Packers and Cowboys game. Bills, Eagles, and especially the Dolphins. Yeah. This yesterday was the kind of day where technical difficulties that prevented me from calling the Colts game had me watching the Cowboys and the Jets. I don't particularly mind the Cowboys. It's those damn Jets. They looked awful. While we're talking about teams that looked awful and we stay in the AFC East, the Jets look like absolute dog water. What was that? What was that? Yes, you can, Vic. You can claim a victory Monday, and that score is not indicative of how bad the New York Jets are. Everybody in that Jet organization, Everybody needs to go, from the owner down to the players. The only player that you keep and start from the beginning. What's up, Queen Jen? The only player that you keep is Garrett Wilson. Everybody else, give him a severance package and tell him, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. And they thought Aaron Glenn would be, and the Jets thought Aaron Glenn would be the solution to their problems? A former player with no coaching experience? Really? 90% of the time, there go the hashtags, as Genevieve Yoso has made her appearance. 90% of the time, when you hire a coach that does not have any coaching experience, it's bad. It's bad. Oh, the 49ers found that out the hard way with Jim Tomsula. We don't have the totals yet. But my goodness, two teams in opposite directions last night in the same division. The Patriots took down the Kings of the East and the Buffalo Bills, and the Jets are just the Jets. Really? Everybody in that Jet organization needs to go. Everybody needs to go. Let's take a break. When you all get back, what the hell happened in Baltimore? Everybody on that Ravens squad after yesterday is saying,
well, that game sucked.
Snowman in the morning, back in the deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Because we take this job so serious.
It's really, in the end, basically a skill issue.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Oh, mercy, mercy, mercy. Yes, indeed. A lot of teams have skill issues after this week. Sick Diggy joins us from Norway. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Same to you, young fella. A Pizzle, as we look in the feedback zone, says, can we please get Chris Greer out of Miami? There's an answer to that by Napoleon. I'll get to that in a minute. Kenneth Clark is with us saying, good morning, all my friends. How are you doing today? I'm doing great, man. And all my friends are doing too. Napoleon says, Pizzle, the day that happens is the day John Fisher finally sells the A's to someone that cares about baseball. Unfortunately, Napoleon, that ain't going to happen anytime soon, A. And B, when he does, the A's would already have erased their history and relocated. I'm in tears, just frustrated right now. Big Dog, I totally understand, man. I totally understand. Dog is having technical issues with his Wi-Fi at the moment, and he's going to be out for this for this week. So I will be flying solo with guests in tow. And let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. Dear Baltimore Ravens, wait a minute. I'm not doing this right at all. Well, I am. Let me set it up this way. The Houston Texans played the Baltimore Ravens, and the Baltimore Ravens didn't have Lamar Jackson, so we cannot blame him for what the hell happened yesterday. But what we can say about that game is,
well, that game sucked.
44-10. You know what I thought?
What in the all types of blue hell
was that? This is a team in the Baltimore Ravens that is coming off of a playoff appearance. Let me say that again. This is a team in the Baltimore Ravens that's coming off of a
Playoffs?
appearance.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Yes. Pizzle says, if you need me on Thursday, Friday, I'm available. I'm going to say, you know what, Pizzle? You're in. A Pizzle will join me for both days, especially talking football. So thank you, Pizzle, for pinch hitting. Appreciate it. As I said, the dog is out this week. due to technical difficulties. He's also in the process of moving. So Pizzle will pinch hit Thursday and Friday. That is a go. When I saw the score yesterday, and then I took in the lowlights, yes, I said it, lowlights of that game. The Baltimore Ravens season is finished. Period. Point blank. Dot. Exclamation point. End of story. The Baltimore Ravens season is finito. Done. That once proud defense that has parts missing due to injury, and I know that, and I understand that. But still, you let a one-win team in the Houston Texans that shut out Tennessee last week punch you in the gut, sock you in the mouth, kick you in the chest, and also give you a foot put in your rear end. The seats were empty by the start of half the stadium was gone by the start of the third quarter. The start of the third quarter. You had many empty seats, and this is supposed to be a celebration year? 30th anniversary of the Browns moving to Baltimore and becoming the Ravens, and this is how you celebrate your 30th year with a 1-4 start out of the gate? Take a look at that division. Take a look at what happened in that division. The Steelers are lucky they have the week off. The Ravens get pounded. The Bengals get pounded, and and Cleveland lost across the border. That division is terrible. It's to a point I don't even care who wins that division. Whoever wins that division will do it by default. But as it stands right now, it ain't Baltimore and it ain't Cincinnati. But back to Baltimore. Baltimore's season and Jim Harbaugh's tenure as coach of the Baltimore Ravens, as it stands right now, is fried. Do you actually see the best you can do? And I was listening to Damon Amendola yesterday. The best you can do to get into the playoffs as a wild card would be 10-7. That would mean you Baltimore Ravens would have to go 9-3 over the course of the rest of the season. And considering the fact that you got pounded by Detroit, you got pounded by Kansas City, and then you lose in a heartbreaker to Buffalo to start the season, and then this 10-7 is not happening. A prolonged winning streak has to happen to just even get you back in contention. And that ain't happening. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about here? We're talking about the Baltimore Ravens, the once proud Baltimore Ravens, where every time they get a spotlight game in their house, they choke. 2019 Tennessee, anybody? 2 years ago, Kansas City for the AFC Championship? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? I said it last segment about the New York Jets, and I think I need to say it here about the Baltimore Ravens. It is time to push the plunger and blow it up. I'm sorry. Lamar Jackson is not the answer. And you sign Derrick Henry and you don't use him. Let me repeat that. You sign Derrick Henry and you don't use him. Yes, he has 1,000-yard seasons in Baltimore. I understand that, but he's not the same Derrick Henry. You're not turning and sticking the ball in his belly 25 times because you want to have Lamar Jackson lead your team in rushing and passing. Bad move. And it cost you. It cost you a trip to the AFC Championship in 2019, and it cost you a trip to the Super Bowl with Derrick Henry in tow last year, 2 years ago. And then came last year when you fumbled the ball away, Mark Andrews, I'm looking at you, against the Buffalo Bills when you had a chance to knock them out. You had a chance to wipe them clean out, and you blew it. And it's all come down to yesterday with Cooper Rush as your starting quarterback, and that happened. 44 points surrendered, while you, Baltimore Ravens, only got 10. This is on top of the fact that you got whacked in the mouth by the Detroit Lions. That score, 38-30, does not indicate how thoroughly beaten up you were after you faced the Lions on Monday Night Football and they punched you in the gut several times. Then all of a sudden, the Houston Texans think, hey, we can go in their house and beat them. Detroit did it, and sure enough, Baltimore lays an egg bigger than V-Show Joe's head. Baltimore lays an egg bigger than the Cubs did. And the Cubs are going to lay another egg tonight, and I'm going to call that game. More on that later. Kenneth Clark says we should talk about the baseball playoffs. I'll get to him. But the main focus is Overreaction Monday from the NFL. And if I'm overreacting on what I'm saying about the Baltimore Ravens, fine. Prove me wrong. Prove to me that you just not have your season blown up into dust by the Houston Texans of all teams. A Texans team that themselves got socked in the mouth several times. And you know the main reason why the Baltimore Ravens are in the ruins that they're in? Yeah, I said it. They're in ruins. You want to know the main reason? Because yes, Lamar, it is you. The Baltimore Ravens need a better quarterback. All Lamar Jackson is a copy of Justin Fields, a running back in a quarterback's body. That's it, and that's all. And you ain't going to get anywhere with him. The furthest you got was the AFC Championship, and you had the AFC Championship in your house. And you got punched in the mouth again by the Kansas City Chiefs. And then yesterday happened to put you at 1-4. You know what you'd have to do to win the division? You would have to run the table. You'd have to run the table to get back to your lofty standards of playoff records, like 12-5 or 13-4. And as I said, at the very least, Baltimore, you'd have to be 10-7 to get into the wild card. And considering how the AFC looks right now, San Diego, I'm looking at you. That ain't happening. That is not happening. Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields are the same kind of quarterback. They can't throw. Their footwork sucks. They take off at first opportunity. They're behind porous offensive lines. And they can't play the position very well. Are they both athletic? Absolutely they are. Are they both good quarterbacks? Hell no. Even though Lamar Jackson didn't play yesterday due to a hamstring injury, and we don't know how long he's going to be out, Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields are the same kind of quarterback, period. Justin Fields sucks, and so does Lamar Jackson. Hell, Justin Fields can't even quarterback the New York Jets, for God's sakes. He certainly couldn't quarterback the Chicago Bears. All Justin Fields is Sonic the Hedgehog running the football without an arm. He had no arms. He had arm strength at Ohio State. That's it, and that's all. Same with Lamar Jackson. He had sidearm strength at Louisville because the offensive line at Louisville actually protected him. And yes, I'm throwing shade at Damian, and I'm trying to do it without a smile and not laughing at him because he's throwing shade at me. But Baltimore, your season is finito. Dunskies. And I do not see you making the playoffs. And I said it at the top of the season. I said when we did our preseason preview in August, I said at the top of the season that the Baltimore Ravens would not make the playoffs. Why? For one reason, yes, Lamar, it is you. Period. Now, Fight me on that if you dare. When we come back, I'll explain to you why the San Francisco 49ers are the most dangerous team in the NFL right now, even though half of their team is missing. And after the Jaguars game, I thought,
Well, that game sucked.
but then Thursday night happened. And even though there are several teams with 4-1 records coming into this week, I'll explain why the 49ers are the most dangerous team. And to Damian Hernandez, they actually have not one but two quarterbacks that can throw the ball better than Justin Fields and can throw the ball far. Remember that joke, Victor? Snowman in the morning, back in the deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
'Cause we take this job so serious.
Dear Bronsexuals, you. Dear Facebook for allowing Bronsexuals on. You. Dear ESPN for putting Braun. Dear ESPN for putting Braun on in 2003. You, and you.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning.
The original crash out 2 years ago. And I normally don't crash out like that, but I've done a lot of it lately. Tonight, Major League Baseball on Snowman Sportsnet. Yes, I know I put baseball away for the year, but the playoffs are going on right now. Dodgers and Phillies Dodgers lead that game 1-0. Thank you, Shohei Ohtani. The champs go to Philadelphia for game 2. 6:08 is the first pitch. And then what I'm interested in, Cubs and Milwaukee from Brewtown. Milwaukee leads that series 1-0. Milwaukee trying to win their first playoff series since 2011. Okay. Y'all got to bring back Tam. Sick Diggy says he's been burning up the R&B charts for a long time. Yeah, he burned them up so much they canceled the charts. Okay. I am going to say something that people will not agree with, but I'm going to say it anyway. The San Francisco 49ers, sitting at 4-1, are the most dangerous team in the NFL right now. Come on, Damien. I'm waiting. Let me explain why. Every week, you guys see me talk about the injury list for the 49ers. This past Thursday, no Purdy, no Pearsall, Juwan Jennings is out. We know we lost Bosa for the season, and we lost two other players to injury. One is a hand injury. And they won. I sat here in this chair Thursday night convincing myself, there's no way San Francisco can win that game in Los Angeles. But a little piece of my heart says, yes, they can. And you're going to miss it if you don't call it. So sure enough, Jones throws a dart to McCaffrey, throws another dart to Kendrick Bourne. And the next thing I know, I'm putting this headset on, watching them complete their first drive in what would turn out to be a 23-20 victory over the Los Angeles Rams. And the question that I ask to this moment in time as we get ready to face off against Tampa Bay is how? How? Just plain how? How the hell did we do that? Because I have no idea, and I can only pin it to the resilience of the San Francisco 49ers. Different parts, except for Jacksonville, same result. And they go to Tampa next week to face another playoff contender in the Buccaneers. Now, last year, we beat them on a walk-off field goal from Jake Moody. And you know what helped us Thursday night? A 58-yard field goal from Eddie Pinheiro that gave the Niners a 23-20 lead at the time, in a situation where I thought they were going to punt the ball. I actually thought they were going to punt the ball. They said, oh, no. Oh, no. We got Smooth Eddie here. Swept the leg and banged it through. And then in overtime, he banged it through from deep and it caught part of the upright. And then the defense stood tall. And then the defense, who had been shredded in the second half by the Rams, made the play. So far, they made the play of the year when they stopped Kyron Williams on 4th and 1. Damian says, I really thought Mike Shanahan would be on the hot seat after losing all those pieces, especially on defense. You know what, Damian? I thought Kyle Shanahan would be on the and it's Kyle Shanahan, not Mike Shanahan. Mike is daddy right now. He would long since retired from the coaching game. But I thought Kyle would be on the hot seat too. Kyle's in his 9th season in San Francisco, if you can believe that. And somehow he's made it work. Except for 2020 and 2024 and rest of 17 and 18, he's made it work. Somehow it always seems to work. Last year, the injuries piled up beyond recognition, and we couldn't do anything about it. We couldn't do a damn thing about it. And I think what doomed us was the game in Minnesota, where Sam Darnold, of all quarterbacks, whipped our tails. And I'm trying not to cuss because we are live on our radio stations today. In fact, that's going to be us going forward. And if you see me looking up, I'm looking up at a sign that says go national. Done that. Rule, no swearing. Working on that. But back to these guys. My San Francisco 49ers. 4-1 coming into this year. 4-1. Who saw that coming? I actually picked San Francisco to win only 10 games. They only won 6 last year. They already have 4 wins. Purdy is due back. Pearsall is due back. Jawan is due back. And we get an extra piece. I think you all know who I'm talking about. George the Animal Kittle is due back this week after being on IR due to a hamstring injury. Due to a hamstring injury, George the Animal Kittle is back. And yes, Kenneth Clark, no more undefeated teams this year because the Patriots, and I talked about them at the top of the show, took care of business against the Bills. And the 49ers came up with a win against the Rams. The walking conspiracy, George. I got to explain that running joke between me and Victor. See, when Kittle signed his extension, Victor went off on my show. He did it playfully, saying there's a conspiracy that the 49ers signed Kittle just to keep messing with the Cowboys. Kittle messes with everybody. And Tiger Stripes, I may have to have you with me when I do a 49er game. Kittle scares everybody. I'm sorry, but for those of you who think Travis Kelce is the better quarterback, or tight end, why am I? But for those of you who think Travis Kelce is the better tight end just because he has Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback, allow me to introduce you to the people's tight end. He can block. He can catch it. I need my button because I can't even use that word, according to my bosses at WQVZ. Listen, let me introduce you to the people's tight end. George the Animal Kittle. Stone Cold Kittle, as was named by Ted Robinson, the former voice of the 49ers. The people's tight end is introduced to you by The Rock himself. And to quote Dwayne The Rock Johnson, allow me to introduce you to the people's tight end. My man George Kittle can block. He can catch a pass. He can lay the smack down on your candy. I absolutely love number 85 because he can do all that. He can do all this. That's for you, Cole. George the Animal Kittle is a generational talent, Victor. You are definitely right about that. You are definitely right about that. You ain't going to find another tight. You will never in life find another tight end like George Kittle. Because he can do all this. I want you to see all this. That's for you, Cole. And as long as George the Animal Kittle stays healthy, this time when he returns from injury, the San Francisco 49ers will be complete. They will compete, and they will be the most dangerous team in the NFL. And wait till Brock Purdy gets right. So as you hear, and I have to go to a break with this because y'all hear it every morning. So to all you Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Ricky Pearsall, Jawan Jennings, Christian McCaffrey, and San Francisco 49er haters, shut the up. I had to. All right. When y'all get back, more football talk, and I think I got to make some tea. Back in a minute.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
We take this job so serious.
Dear Bronzexuals, you. Dear Facebook for allowing Bronzexuals on. You. Dear ESPN for putting Braun. Dear ESPN for putting Braun on in 2003. You, and you.
What in the all types of blue hell?
This is Snowman in the Morning.
I can't believe that. 53 after the hour, 7 toward the top of the hour. And Damon, you're absolutely correct. The Niners have to beat the Eagles to be the best team, and I believe they can. But as I always say, to be the champs, you must unseat the champs. Well, dear Los Angeles Rams, we got a leg up on you for unseating you in the NFC West. And it applies there too. To be the champs, you have to unseat the champs. Well, we're halfway to unseating the champs in the NFC West. At the top of the hour, we'll have the scoreboard Cutie Queen update brought to you by SeatGeek. And during the second half of today's show, Jay Spivey will join us from North Carolina. Speaking of North Carolina, dear Miami Dolphins, your season is trash. Your season is done. And where are you? If anybody ever mentions, and I think Pizza will agree with me, something about where'd it go? Dagnabbit. See, I let Shane in the truck and he plays around and then all that happens. Well, since I can't find the thing I'm looking for, I know the Miami Dolphins. I'll go another way with this joke. I know the Miami Dolphins have to be thinking this.
What the hell? No, 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 no!
Because
Stop! He's already dead.
Miami is finished. Done, fried, cooked, filleted, shaken, bacon, whipped, dipped, chipped, chopped, and fricasseed. Forever and ever, amen. No, and I think of the Miami Dolphins right now.
Mid!
Because in comeback fashion, you lost to Carolina. Let me say that again. In comeback fashion, the Miami Dolphins lost to Carolina. They lost to a former Heisman Trophy winner, a former number one pick who was doing nothing but led a shutout against Atlanta. They got rocked in New England and surrendered 42 points. And they were down 17-0 at one point yesterday. The fans were booing. The fans were leaving. And then all of a sudden, Bryce Young woke up? What? And the next thing I knew, since the Colts already took care of business, and I'll talk about the Colts to open the second hour, since that happened, a sleeping giant awoken, down 17-0. And the next thing you knew, the Panthers were driving down the field for the lead. Rico Dowdle. Let me mention that name again, Cowboy fans. I'm talking to you. And I'm talking to the moronic Republic of Cowboy Nation who stupidly let running backs go and they wind up performing great somewhere else. Tony Pollard, anybody? Rico Dowdle, anybody? Rico Dowdle carried the ball 23 times for 206 yards. How the hell did the Dolphins beat the Jets? Oh, yeah, they're the Jets. That's why. Let me say those numbers again. Rico Dowdle rushed for 206 yards yesterday. The ground game player of the week is Rico Dowdle. And if it's someone else, then it's a conspiracy. And the Dolphins got the lead on a 46-yard touchdown on a beautiful pass from Tua, turned the ball over to Jaden Waddle. And the Panthers said, okay, hold my beer. Marched right down the field and scored. They marched right down the field and scored and won. As I said with two other teams in this program, on this particular program today, dear Miami Dolphins, push the plunger and blow it up. Everybody has, except Devin Achane, and maybe Jalen Waddle. Everybody got to go. Period. Everybody got to split. End of story. Everybody has got to split. Everybody got to go. Because I do not see the Miami Dolphins winning anything, anytime, anywhere soon. I just don't. Not with that future team they got. It's halftime here on Snowman in the Morning. I got the iced tea made. I'm going to go grab me some. And when we come back, we'll have our scoreboard update. We'll talk Major League Baseball playoffs. And there's a couple of other games that I want to go over before we welcome Jay Spivey from North Carolina. Snowman in the Morning is back in a... Hold on a minute. Okay. Had to read the line here. Snowman in the Morning... I'm just kidding. Snowman in the Morning, back in the deuce.
This is Snowman in the Morning.